10 years after 9/11, a new report out just this morning says the U.S. may still be unable to stop a terror attack. The former leaders of the 9/11 Commission say the effort to find airline passengers with hidden explosives lacks reliability, and also argue that the U.S. is not yet prepared for a truly catastrophic disaster. For nearly 8 months after 9/11, FEMA photographers recorded the rescue and recovery efforts at Ground Zero here in New York City. CBS News has been given access to more than 100 hours of that footage, and CBS News Homeland Security correspondent Bob Moore shows us some of that.
10 years later, and the pictures are still overpowering. Raw images of a horror that remains hard to comprehend. Weary rescue workers, overwhelmed by the scope of the destruction, moving debris in a bucket brigade, and digging, oftentimes just with their hands, in a desperate search for survivors and trapped first responders. Underground, it is pitch black, a disorienting darkness, punctuated by the crunching sound of footsteps as rescuers search for victims. Guided by periodic shafts of light shining down through the carnage above, this team from Miami is tracing subway lines, looking for people who might have taken refuge when the Twin Towers were hit. Another group of searchers from Washington State inches towards another possible shelter.
We're in Office Depot over here. This opens up into a large space. We may want to take a look.
The subterranean search of the 6 floors beneath the World Trade Center is both daring and haunting. There are so many strange discoveries. Newspapers untouched on their stands, trumpeting the big stories from the morning of September 11th. An arrest in an old bank heist leads the New York Daily News. There's an election headline in the New York Post. Dusty merchandise remains on store shelves, right where it was when the clerks ran to safety. A nearby subway train is trapped in the cave-in. Parked cars have been tossed around in their underground garage. And look at the clocks, frozen just before 10 a.m. Back above ground, other images catch our attention. There's a rescue dog fitted with a camera on its collar. A crushed fire truck. Someone is identified by writing E34 for Engine 34 on its dusty frame. There are flags planted amidst the rubble, symbols of hope in our national time of despair. And small pieces from the first jetliner to hit the towers. This section of windows is from American Airlines Flight 11. The pictures confirm what most of us have long assumed. The crater at the World Trade Center site was hell on earth. A smoke and dust-filled maze of devastation that makes just getting around treacherous. Fire crews rigged bridges out of ladders to navigate what look like valleys of ruins. Cadaver dogs are carefully ferried on zip lines in and out of narrow pockets in the wreckage. And search teams grab any makeshift tool they can find, like a shattered piece of reinforcing rod, to explore the crevices below the 1.5 million tons of twisted steel and shattered concrete on the surface. But the most defining image is the panorama of destruction and the last skeletal remains of the Twin Towers being brought down. A decade later, the pictures resonate and take us back to that horrible day, which is still so unimaginable. Bob Moore, CBS News, Washington.